This is just for Bert, so he can look at his younger self and say, "Look at you! Like this train ride, it's going to shape your entire career. You're going to do great. Like, good job, bud. You're going to get married. You're going to have a hot wife.
Nick loves.
You're going to be all right."
Nick loves age crisis scenes because he's in one.
Listen.
Welcome back to the big room where we watched a movie that's not old.
We did.
We watched
Brand
a movie
Finally.
from 2023 instead of 1923.
Wow.
This podcast is older than this movie.
Yeah, Carl's joining us from the jungle with his cup of orange juice.
Start your day without it.
Yeah, we watched The Machine, which is a movie from a comedian that we all like, that three of us like, named Brent Chrysler.
Brent Crystals.
Yeah, Bart Krizzler. It's a movie about his one bit. You know, the reason everybody goes to see him is to hear the same bit at the end of every show, and we all love it. It's good. It's a good bit.
It's a good bit.
It's about him at Florida State going to Russia for a study abroad kind of deal for a Russian class, and getting involved with the Russian mafia. At how old?
100% true.
26?
When I was 22 years old, I got involved in the
22
Russian
years old.
mafia.
22
years old.
How could you not remember that?
Fake fan.
Fake fan.
This is obvious, and if you need this warning, I question your intelligence. But this whole episode's gonna be spoiler filled because we're talking about a movie,
A new movie.
So if you want to see The Machine, and the trailers didn't ruin the entire plot for you,
It didn't.
I mean,
Nah.
but still, if you're if you don't want this excellent piece of film spoiled for you, burping, stop listening. Actually, don't. Just be spoiled because we need listeners. Please help.
Yeah, just act
worth it.
surprised when you watch it.
Like
Take
and
one for the
Please help.
team.
Send it to your mom.
Like and subscribe.
Send it to your mom.
Send it to your
Play it
mom.
for your dogs.
If all 20 of you, and by 20 I mean 9, sent it to your mom, we could have, 18. Wow.
Wow.
That'd be crazy.
That would be crazy.
And follow us on TikTok before DeSantis puts us in jail for having it on our phones. All right. So, expectations is probably the most important expectations or prevalent expectations that we've had for any movie because there's no anything to draw from. It's a brand new movie. It's our first new movie we've done. And yes, there were sacrifices for the bucket, movies we didn't want to see and are instead watching this for. And we'll never tell you which ones.
Ew.
Let's do it. You hate Bert. So why don't you do your expectations for
I don't,
you don't like Bert.
hate. Hate's a strong word.
You said his skin looks sticky.
That doesn't mean I hate him.
You're body
I
shaming
hate
Bart.
him. I'm not body shaming him. I just would like
Bart
his
is
comedy better
beautiful.
if he wasn't shirtless. It's distracting. It's distracting. I don't like the way he does sex jokes. They're not funny to me.
They're not funny to you?
No.
Well, that sucks.
He's more boy humored, I think, in my opinion.
All right.
So, anyways, but when he's with his wife,
Leanne.
it softens him to me. So I like him better when he's in combination with good old Leanne.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I don't hate Bart.
You don't hate Bart.
He's just not my fave.
Not your favorite.
But that being said,
said to talk like
to
Leanne.
quote Leanne.
Leanne.
To quote Leanne. I expected this to be just a goofy comedian action
like a
movie.
summer movie.
Yeah, just something fun, something a little kooky.
Dumb.
Yeah,
You
dumb.
can say dumb.
I wasn't thinking dumb, but Bert's humor is goofy and dumb. So I expect, and it's pretty much what I expected. So I'm not mad about it.
Yeah. I thought it was
you?
interesting that they used Leanne's real name, but not Georgia or Isla's.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too.
Yeah, that was weird.
Maybe it was a little protective kind of thing. Like, would you want to use your kids' real names in your movie? Probably not.
I mean,
Yeah.
But he
said
talks
them.
about them so much in his stand-up.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
At one point, I looked at
Yeah.
Cameron during the movie, and I was like, "Oh, look, it's dumb Isla." Like they're a part of his bit, so it was weird they changed it.
Yeah, that was weird. Nick, what'd you expect going in? Or did you?
I
have any
had-
expectations?
I had intentionally low expectations. Not even necessarily that it was gonna suck, but I thought it might be overhyped because Bert was on every podcast talking about it. Mark Hamill was talking about it. All the cast were doing interviews. Bert was on Good Morning America. Like, it was a lot. And I didn't want it to not live up to the hype. But
isn't that just like the normal movie circuit, though, that everybody does for every movie?
Yeah, but that's like, this feels, I mean, it's a real movie. Like, it was Legendary Pictures. They had a credible director. Like, it wasn't low budget by any means, but I don't know. I expected it to feel a little low budget and to be kind of bad acting because it's Bert. He's a comedian. He's not an actor.
I mean, they don't make movies
I didn't want
like
it to be
this.
overhyped. So I was a little hesitant with having any kind of high expectation.
Sure.
But I thought they did a freaking awesome job with it. It was really well directed, really well shot. Bert's a pretty all right actor.
Yeah.
I thought. But yeah.
Yeah, you forget that he's been in front of the camera for a very long time because he had that TV show, and so he's not like a stranger to being on camera. Plus, he's used to being in a crowd. It's just acting is a different muscle to flex. But I thought he did a pretty good job.
He had 2 shows on Travel Channel. He had Bert the Conqueror and Hurt Bert. I've seen all of season 1 and half of season 2 of Bert the Conqueror. And
Is that it? I feel like we watched more than that.
No.
No? Ooh.
But it's like it's a Travel Channel show. So it's not brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carl, what'd you think? Go again.
I expected a little bit more comedy. I think this was kind of an equal parts action, comedy, and like drama and kind of heartfelt whatever. I think I wanted a little bit more comedy out of it. I think I wanted like an 80-20 kind of split.
Yeah.
And it felt more like 50-50-50.
That's 150%.
I expect a lot from Bert. But yeah, I think I just wanted a little bit more like punchlines in there, kind of like more of a Hangover style where it's like overtly comedy with like some ridiculousness. We definitely got the ridiculousness. I didn't expect it to be as well choreographed for like the fight scenes and even like the transitions they did from like going from like present day to like back in time. Like they kind of spun the camera and the whole thing changed. Those are really smooth.
So good.
So yeah, there's a lot of like really well directed scenes that I was like, wow, this is surprising. So kudos.
It's kind of hard being a Bert fan because I feel like it's a little more difficult to subjectively judge the movie. So I read an article the day before. I read the first paragraph of an article and then was like, I need to stop because I want to like kind of just experience this movie without, someone else's opinions in my brain. But they were like, they felt that Bert's acting wasn't super great. And I kind of disagree. I thought in the beginning, like the party scenes and the scenes in the bedroom with Leanne in the beginning of the film and the therapy scenes were a little stiff. But I thought that all of the Russian scenes were pretty solid. And I thought that if anything, the script let Bert down a little bit more than Bert let the movie down a little bit. I don't think it was a super ironclad script.
Well, he's really good at those like over the top scenes.
The outrageous
like when he's
stuff.
punching the guy in the throat, he's like, "Oh my god, my hand! I'm inside him!" Like,
Dude, was so
insane.
that over the top reaction is Bert.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, some of those like just one-on-one conversations at the beginning were a little rough, but
Probably harder to be emotional.
Well, we're used
crazy.
to the machine of Bert. We're not used to him just being like at a party, not being the machine. So seeing him like that's just kind of jarring.
Yeah, he's either like partying or he's sobbing. Like those are the 2 modes of Bert that we kind of get.
He swings both ways.
At least from like I know that we're all like at least 3 of us are all.
Oh my god.
No. Well, 3 of us are 2 Bears fans.
Oh, okay.
All 4 of us are like YMH fans, and I don't know if you've listened to Wife of the Party. I really haven't.
I haven't.
We're in the big YMH circle of podcast. I've listened to BERTcast. I've watched Something's Burning. Like we're big Chrysler fans and YMH fans over here. But I don't remember where I was going with this. But we're used to Bert, so we're used to him at his extremes. So to see him kind of have to play like a pseudo serious and also like caricature of himself is a little weird. Like the therapy scenes, I found a little. Again, I felt like they fell a little bit flat.
Since you said therapy, it's like this weird comedy movie trend that I'm seeing. Like Pete Davidson did it. Pete Davidson did it with the King of Staten Island. Even more recently, Sebastian Maniscalco's got like About My Father movie. Joe List did a movie called The 4th of July. That was like it's all these movies that are almost like this self-referential therapy session almost of a comedy movie. They're all kind of like working through their own inner conflict.
Do they
and, like,
literally have
presenting it.
therapy scenes?
Well, yeah. And
Okay.
I know in the 4th of July there is one. I don't know if there is one. I haven't seen the Sebastian movie, but it's all just very like, here's me. It's a comedy, but I'm working through what I'm actually going through in real life, and it's this very meta thing. And I kind of don't love that in comedy movies. I just kind of want a goofy, like Hangover or with super bad kind of movie.
Yeah,
Where it's
like-
just kind of ridiculous and hilarious the whole way through. And there's you can get some like moral story or whatever through it, but it's not so forced on you.
Yeah, the downfall part of the first act of the movie where Bert's like live streams his daughter getting arrested for being 15 and driving him drunk home from the bar. Like that was like, man, is he like projecting a nightmare that he's had, or
Yeah,
like
I had to ask Cameron. I was
fear?
like, that didn't actually
No,
happen,
it
right?
definitely
I didn't
didn't
think
actually
so,
happen.
but I
Okay.
was like, wait a minute.
No,
I think it's maybe
It's
rooted
funny
in
that it's
something, but
believable.
is it the
Yeah.
like
it's questionable as a testament to
I mean,
it.
Bert accidentally live streams all the time on freaking Instagram.
yeah.
I believed it for a second. I was like, wait a minute.
But he's very careful, like on Two Bears episodes and stuff, if he doesn't drive. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
like he's like Tom. There was a couple bits of like Tom being like, "Have a second beer." And he's like, "No, I drove here. I can't have another one. I drove here." So, no, like that. I don't know. That was a little interesting to me, but obviously he was involved with the script. So, yeah. I don't know. I thought there'd be more comedy in the beginning. I thought that especially with the trailers, I thought we would have more of a, classic, maybe even Kevin Jamesy circle of comedy, like a grown-up-y kind of vibe to the whole party thing. And it was just more therapy-ish and serious. And
It was
I thought,
pretty down.
I
like-
thought the Mark Hamill introduction was going to be way different than it was. Way different. I don't know. I expected something different from the first act of the movie. And then when they got to Russia and it started rolling, I was like, this is exactly the movie I expected.
Yeah.
A little bit. That's when it was, I guess, more kind of off the rails in a classic kind of stupid Hollywood movie. It's definitely more in that category of Adam Sandler movies that happened years ago, Like it's not a...
Which it feels like there's been a lull of
Exactly.
movies like that. Like I think the last one that I can think of is like maybe 21 Jump Street, where it's kind of like an obvious comedy.
Right.
But other than that, it's like the last like kind of franchise was the Hangover series, right?
Maybe.
I mean,
just
but even
don't
before that,
make-
there used to be a lot of comedian-centric movies where it's like, Will Ferrell had like Talladega Nights, Step Brothers, all those different movies. Before that, Adam Sandler had all of his kind of stuff, Farley and David
Ben
Spade.
Stiller.
So yeah, there used to be like Zoolander, oh my god. So
Night at
there's
the
not really
Museum
that
even.
kind. Yeah,
Grown Ups, Paul Blart Mall Cop, like all these
Yeah.
kind of dumb, they're gonna get 6 out of 10s on IMDb, but
Summer
they're
comedy.
enjoyable movies.
yeah, just
What were you
summer.
gonna
So
say?
I'm excited for like. Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I was just trying to say they don't make like mid-budget movies anymore. Like even like the death of the rom-com and comedies and like even like lower budget action films. It's always everything has to be a blockbuster. Everything has to make $1 billion.
I mean, Crazy Rich Asians was the first rom-com in like a decade.
And forever. Like they just don't make like mid-tier, mid-budget movies and it's sad because
Yeah.
they're fun and enjoyable.
I kind of
And
think the polish hurts it. Like this movie looked so good
it did.
that I was kind of like it takes away from the fun. It almost seemed oversaturated. Like I was thinking about like Talladega Nights seems a lot more subdued for the coloring. Like it's a lot brighter, a lot more white. It's
I
not
wonder if
as
that's just like a 2023 thing. Like now that
I think it is just
everything's
like an
digital
editing
and
trend, but I
said
think it
that
hurts
about-
comedy.
We said that about Groundhog's Day.
yeah.
Because
They look
there's
more
something
muted?
about those older movies that it's just the way it was filmed. It's not super polished, and it just feels like real people in the movie
even
Well,
Rain
and-
Man.
that you kind of lose these days.
There's no way that the machine shot on real film, but there is a film renaissance kind of happening. But speaking to your mid budget, it was $20 million. That's it.
What is that?
That's cheap.
As you're saying,
that's-
give me a comparison
That's
here.
essentially
that's-
no money. I mean, what's the last? There was that. What was that Disney animated movie I mentioned?
But it feels like they spent all of that money
Elemental?
on the editing.
I think Elemental was $146 million or something like that.
Oh my god.
Like these movies are $100 million plus movies.
I mean, Avatar.
Yeah,
Avatar was-
Jesus.
well, that's
I
like
don't
the
even know.
far end of the
You know?
spectrum, though. Yeah.
What's another movie that came out recently? That was like
I mean,
big-ish.
Do the Barbie movie.
The Barbie movie.
Mm.
Because that's probably fall.
100 million. So
Yeah.
a fifth of the
Okay.
budget the machine had. And I feel like 100 to 150 million is kind of the spot we're at right now in movies.
So.
Could be wrong.
You're wrong.
But 20 million feels like no money.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
yeah.
How did y'all
it's-
like Mark Hamill's performance?
Oh, dude. I thought it was a little hammy in spots. But it's Mark freaking Hamill. It's the best movie he's done since 1983.
Of course.
Yeah, I do love a lot of his
Well-
voice acting, but yeah.
Well, no. Like feature film, like
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
person.
I don't even.
Best
Was he in
one
3
since
movies lately? I don't
1983.
even know.
No,
so.
He definitely wasn't. He
Yeah.
definitely wasn't. It's the line is it's Return of the Jedi, right to the machine. That's it.
Yeah, I saw Mark Hamill when he first came on, and it was a little off-putting at first because in that moment I realized I'd only seen him really as Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
So I think in my head I was picturing Luke Skywalker for some reason, which couldn't be farther from this character. So once I got over that, though, I really enjoyed his performance, I thought. And apparently Bert did too. He was talking about how when they were casting his dad, one of the first things Mark Hamill said to him was, "Why don't you wear a shirt?" And he's like, "That's exactly what my dad says. You got it. Like, no one else can be my dad. He has to be my dad.
There
Why
was
don't you wear a shirt? You should wear something with a color."
there was a moment in the
Just
in the
good marketing.
machine in the third act when they're in like the casino room and Bert's fighting like a couple henchmen and they have guns or whatever. And he starts swigging vodka and just goes nuts.
Ugh.
That he's hiding under a casino table. And for some reason, him and his dad have like 2 minutes to have a full voice conversation while they're hiding from Russian mob
A
minion
speed
men.
fueled convo.
And like you can tell that Bert's trying to have like a serious
Emotion.
conversation. You can also tell he's like kind of laughing because Luke Skywalker's telling him that he's like kind of a hero.
Grabbing him by the face.
So, and I started laughing in the theater because I'm like, imagine your dad's telling you you're good enough, but it's just Luke Skywalker.
Never
Skywalker.
show fear. Never show fear.
Oh,
Fear leads to hate.
It was so funny. How did it scan for you, Carl?
Honestly, I kind of. It seemed like he was just playing himself a little bit. Like I kind of.
Yeah.
Not that he like phoned it in, but like it seemed like anybody could have been playing his dad and it would have worked. No criticism to Mark Hamill or anything, but it just didn't seem like it was that vital to the story, I guess.
It was Mark
But-
Hamill as Mark Hamill in a movie.
Yeah, and, you know, and Bert is Bert, Mark is Mark. It was just everybody kind of playing themselves a little bit. But you know, awesome to see him on screen. So
Yeah.
no complaints there.
I thought it was decent casting. I mean, they look
Yeah.
similar enough as white.
The young Bert,
short-ish
I
white
think,
men with
was
beards.
perfect.
He
Like,
did a good job.
He seemed like he really, what I imagine young Bert to be like.
I was just happy to see Mark Hamill be happy. Like, I feel like he was having a good time being in a crazy movie.
Yeah.
And I just love that for him.
Not having to be like a shadow of his former
Yeah.
self in a very poorly
We
planned
don't
set
talk
of
about
movies.
that. None of that happened.
Where he also has to play like a father figure, but in a really, really poorly written and not
I have
well
no idea
organized
what you're
way.
referring to
Yeah,
right
imagine
now.
if there was movies like that, maybe 3 or even
Don't
even
be
a,
Someone-
even
a
a
movie that
series.
Didn't respect his like knowledge and about the character.
Even a
Legacy.
series where he's plunged into the uncanny valley. I'm just glad that nothing like that has ever happened. And again, we went straight from Return of the Jedi right to the machine. It's crazy that he took like 40 years off, but I'm
I
glad
know.
he did because imagine
Well,
if
he had to focus
not,
on his voice acting. You know,
Yeah,
he did
yeah.
the Joker. He skips in regular shows, so he's in a lot of Adventure Time characters. So you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
he's been busy.
Good for him. Good for him
Yeah.
doing only animated work after 1983.
Oh, jeez. Speaking of the cast, Jimmy, hang on. I wrote it. I spelled
Fallon?
it out wrong in my notes.
Butler?
So
Kimmel?
that I could say it right. And I still don't get it.
Fallon?
Jimmy Tatro is the
Ta-
guy who plays young Bert.
Tatro.
Tatro? I'm second guessing
Who
myself.
cares?
I have no idea.
But anyways, I thought, what Carl was saying, I thought he did a freaking awesome
yeah,
job.
I agree.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was cool how they handled the machine story itself, like the true part of this movie. Because we've all heard the story. Well, you know.
True.
I'm
True.
glad they flashed
I mean, I
back.
think it's real, but
Will we
I
ever
wonder how
know?
much it's
it's funner to think it's real.
It's got to be stretched a lot at this point.
Yeah.
Well, real or not, we've all heard the story 1,000 times.
Wait, it's not
At this
real?
point, it's a legend, and that comes with its
it
own
might as well
grain
be
of
real.
salt.
It's got to
Yeah.
be a fishtail to a degree. Like, you
Yeah.
know that I just get the sense that if Leanne was there, she'd be like, that's not how it happened.
Oh yeah.
That's why she wasn't in the movie.
Yeah.
No,
She was, though.
Actually, she
Yeah.
was. So she was
Yeah.
in the movie
Oh,
as
that's
some like
amazing.
divorced mom or whatever.
Drunk
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah, and it
he's
was
like, that guy's a dickhead or something. I was like, oh, so
and it
funny.
was like
There was a lot of
one of
really
the
good
only
Easter
funny
eggs. Yeah.
moments of the early part of the film was seeing
Yeah.
Leanne.
We were all like, oh, Leanne.
Yeah.
Can
There was
we-
that
No, but-
graffiti that said Tom is fat. There was
That
a lot of
was-
nice little like if you were in that
funny.
circle, there was a lot of little sprinkled in things like that.
And they were in that scene for a good 5 minutes, and we just kept being like, "Tom is fat" for the whole part.
I have no idea what else was
I
happening
kept
in
calling
that
him my
scene.
fat friend Tom. I was like, "You're the fat one, Bert." Like Tom.
I
is great.
wanted
good.
I wanted a Tom appearance so bad.
I know.
I know.
I
can't wait for
thought
him to show
the
up.
like the third brother was gonna be Tom.
Yeah.
I was
Imagine.
waiting
That'd
for him
been
to
sick.
show
Wait,
up.
third
It was
brother.
a bummer.
Well, he said that I've got so the second brother.
One
the
of
I
the
blonde
assumed
one.
there was 3 siblings and then there was 2 siblings.
No, so the second brother, I'm pretty sure said, I have 2 brothers, one now, thanks to you or whatever, because she killed the one on the train. So I think there was a third brother we never saw, or I misremembered that line. But can we talk about? I want to hear Carl's experience too, but I want to talk about our theater experience, the 3 of us. So we saw it on a Sunday. Is it fair to call it a matinee without
Oh,
fully
yeah.
knowing what that
no,
word
it's a
means? We
matinee.
saw
It's
it.
before 3 or before 5.
We saw it on a Sunday matinee.
It was 1.
We went there at
Either way.
1:10 at our shitty theater because
It's not that.
I've never been to the new theater that everybody
I was gonna
likes.
say, if only there was a better theater like 5 miles down the road.
So I have bias to the one we go to because it has Dolby Atmos audio and True IMAX instead of Screen X.
yeah,
and,
but we
and-
didn't watch this movie in IMAX.
No, and it didn't. And the audio just didn't even matter. But still,
Yes, it did.
It's my childhood theater. It sucks so bad. It's the
Me and
worst.
Cameron went on a date.
I saw a very important movie in 3D there once. Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace. So.
That was in 3D.
I saw it in 3D. I stole the Darth Maul 3D glasses.
No.
They're in that closet right over there.
Nice.
Those have got to be worth a fortune.
Maybe, but they're priceless to me. I want to be buried in them, and by buried I mean cremated. Anyway, we went to the movie theater. There were 7 people there, and we were 3 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And behind us, Nick, what was the lady behind us doing?
There was a lady. We were the first 3 in the theater, and then a lady walks in. She had to be at least 75, and I went, "That's not the demographic I was expecting." So Regal has like an unlimited pass, so I'm pretty sure she was like, "This is free. I'm just gonna go watch a movie." Because she got to the very top of the theater, put a blanket over herself, put a lollipop in her mouth, and was just chilling. And then like halfway through the movie, I turn around and she was out. I was like, all right, well,
I mean, goals?
That was just like a weed lollipop.
Right.
Goals, right?
So it was her. There were 2 other old people in front of us, and then a couple in their 30s to our right. So however many people that is, none. There were none. No one was there.
Yeah.
And I want
I
to say,
think the guy to the right of us was laughing at certain parts. I was
Yes.
like, he's a BERT fan.
He knows.
right. But that being said, 3 people in the movie laughed at some of the deeper cuts, like Leanne's line and the Thomas fat, and we were all of them.
The Thomas fat might have been like the funniest part of that movie.
I don't know, man. Mark Hamill holding up Bert's balls
Hey,
on the fishing
Hang on,
dock.
hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on. I was gonna ask
was
what's everyone's favorite scene from the movie?
Oh.
Oh.
Because I know mine.
Well, you go first.
I don't
'cause need
know.
to-
Go
Yeah, you
first,
go
yeah.
All right. There were a ton of super funny scenes, but the one that got me the most was right after freaking Mark Hamill kicks Bert off the train. Bert reaches into his pocket after he wakes up and takes the weed brownie.
Yeah.
Eats a weed brownie. And then has this interaction with his younger self. So
That
you
was a
get
good scene.
the younger Bert and Bert in
Yeah.
the same scene. And that scene is the only scene in the movie where like you could take it out and it doesn't affect the rest of the story. And it felt very much like this is just for Bert. So he can look at his younger self and say, look at you, like this train ride, it's going to shape your entire career. You're going to
Yeah.
do great. Like, good job, bud. You're going to get married. You're going to have a hot wife. She's 50. You're gonna have kids. Like,
I'll maybe defend my wife. She's fine. Like, it's like-
it was like it was strangely emotional for me. I was like, oh my god, this feels like it's filmed, like they did the scene just for Bert, just so he could look at his younger self and be like, "You're good job, bud.
Nick loves.
You're gonna be all right."
Nick loves age crisis scenes because he's in one.
Listen,
You're in your quarter life
there might be
crisis.
something to that.
Third
There might be
life
something to
crisis?
that.
Nick wishes his older self would come back and be like, "It's okay, bud. It's okay,
You're gonna
bud.
be all right.
You're gonna be okay."
Shut up.
Nick is
Therapy.
projecting.
I need to
I
go to
think for
therapy.
me,
I
it
need to
was
make a comedy movie.
for me.
Sponsored by BetterHelp.
BetterHelp.
Sponsor us.
Scam.
There goes that sponsor.
I've not heard a single good thing about BetterHelp that wasn't an ad. Anyway, as episodes brought to you by BetterHelp. I think for me it was either the nutsack on the dock scene was really funny
It's like,
because just I got your manhood like
That's,
I don't even remember when that was.
that was such a shock too.
Yeah.
so funny.
Freaking hysterical.
Was that in the flashback
but
or
no.
the end?
That was a flashback.
Okay.
It was like a
I don't even
I don't
remember
remember. It was but for me the funniest part was when
I think it's when he got knocked out on the plane,
was it when
but I can't remember.
was it when Mark Hamill slashes the neck of the big train guy?
Igor.
Oh yeah, you were
Igor,
gonna take
and then
mine.
or
Train
fake
Igor.
Igor.
Bert gets his fist stuck in the neck. That dude, that was the funniest.
I have never
funniest
seen
thing.
that in any movie. I was like, I can't believe this hasn't been done. Like somebody punching a guy in the throat, like and getting stuck. I was like, oh my god.
What was
Crazy.
the line that his dad said? It's like when you get your hand stuck in the cookie jar or whatever.
You gotta let
Just let go. Just let go.
The pickle jar.
The pickle
I
jar.
kept looking at Danielle, and she was just like,
Gets his
Yeah,
head clean
you know me.
off. Yeah.
You know me.
some good light body horror in this movie.
I love it so
Yeah.
much.
And then his body just falls on Bert,
Yeah, it was great.
bleeding all over him.
Just like bringing out classic.
It was so good,
Delicious.
man. That and the Thomas Fat graffiti.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Not the
so
throw
funny.
up in the pocket.
No, because it was in the previous.
All right.
So that was kind of a spoil. Although the leg stick was good.
Throw
It
up in
was
the
good.
pocket was good. That did kind of spoil it for me whenever, because they kind of make you feel like that chick dies. I was like, well, we
Yeah.
still got to do the throw up scene in the pocket.
I totally forgot about that.
true. What about you? What was your favorite
I
or
don't
funniest scene?
know. I really
ending?
liked when I guess he falls out. His dad pushes him off the train. Right. He wakes up. He's in the woods. He has his talk with his younger self, and then original Igor shows up
Yeah.
and shoots at him, and then he's like,
Yeah.
"Wait a minute, Igor!" And Igor takes him back to his village, and then they pick up what's her name, Irina.
I think it was
I don't
Arena.
remember.
Yeah.
Arena.
Irina, the Russian lady. Like, I liked the whole sequence in the village a lot.
I found a whore. I know
Yeah.
that whore.
I know that horror. That was a good scene.
You know, that's kind of where she turns and starts to like soften towards Bert, and
Yeah,
you know, they
she
team up.
was the initial kidnapper, so it's
She
pretty
was.
cool.
So I really liked her character a
You
lot.
you liked the Igor scene because we all kind of thought something bad was going to happen to Igor, and he was fine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was like, no, he's okay. And you know what? He has a family and he's happy.
Lots
So,
of kids. Yeah.
Out of the
you know,
mob.
You know me.
Carl, did you say your favorite yet? What was your favorite or funniest scene?
I mean, I thought the neck one was very
Neck
surprising
was-
because I was just like, oh my god, like I wasn't expecting that kind of.
They really hit
gore,
the
I
gas.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really and that one and then the horse. I know the horror was also funny because it was like nice to see that like they didn't really. Bert says ridiculous stuff in his podcast all the time, and it felt like a lot of that made it into the movie, which is like a nice breath of fresh air, I guess. You know,
Right.
it's in a world where you're told everything is so censored or whatever. So that was cool to see. Like it was like no holds bars. They kind of just like let him fly and just say whatever. So that was fun. But yeah, I don't really have like any like other distinct scene. I mean, where he kind of took his shirt off finally. I imagine like the big crowds were like cheering for that, which would have been nice.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned like there was like 7 people in your theater. There was like
Right.
4 in mine.
Yeah.
So
Which
I
is
went
kinda sad.
yesterday at like
Go see
I'm
this
worried.
movie.
Yeah, I'm worried about like what is that? Maybe it was just the wrong time. Tuesday at 9:20 p.m. is probably not the best
Right.
time to see it after
Probably
it's been out for a
not.
few days. I'm sure in like LA and like probably Tampa it went crazy.
Well, the big fans, went the first 2
Yeah.
showings.
My mistake was waiting too long to go because I wanted it to still be fresh for the podcast. But yeah, so there, like, I wish I'd been in like a big crowd of people because it would have been like so much more fun when all these
Yeah.
like things happened. Like, because it was kind of just me laughing to myself, which is always weird. And I'd gone
Yeah.
from like I'd seen a comedy show at Zany's and then went to go see the movie because I was
Ooh.
like, more comedy. And so that was, I may have just been laughed out, but
Right.
yeah, I just wish there'd been more people in the audience. But what can you do?
Yeah, I was glad that the three of us got to go together.
Yeah, for
There's
sure.
there's a lot of me just slapping Cameron laughing. It was great.
We did also get to see a guy in Jimmy John's. I don't know if y'all noticed. We went to Jimmy John's beforehand. There was an old couple that sat by the trash cans.
Yeah.
Did you look at his ass?
No.
Because
No.
he had a shit stain right in his butt
No.
crack. Yeah.
Why are you just now telling me that?
I don't remember. I forgot
tell
to
me
talk
that
about
crap.
it.
No.
I
What's
forgot-
happening?
I forgot
Well,
to-
I noticed. Okay, the family when we first walked in the door.
Yeah.
So I went to go to the bathroom, and the women's bathroom was closed, and then she like never came out. So his
Oh.
wife was in the bathroom for like a while.
Taking a
Too
was shitting
long.
her
Powdering your
pants, too?
nose.
Too long in a public restroom.
Powdering
She was
your
having
nose.
some issues, and I was just like, he's never gonna leave.
Well, so did old man cargo
Oh,
shorts. Had a
no.
little shit stain in his butt
Dang.
crack. It was great.
Poor fella.
I stopped eating my chips after I saw it, definitely.
Ew.
I was like,
I'm glad my back was to him.
yeah.
'Cause
I almost wanted to be like, look at this guy's butt. But he was like 5
thanks-
feet away.
Thanks
Should've.
for not doing it.
should have.
Then I forgot to mention it
You just
again.
got to give a nudge and then a point.
So
No words.
what are we at? It's impossible to know where we're at, time wise. But we should probably move towards reviews, star time.
Stars? Unless anybody has anything.
Unless anybody has any,
Else?
yeah. Any
I mean-
final thoughts before we move into review time, or can we move along?
Was the ending surprising to anybody?
No, it was predictable and foreshadowed. I thought.
I did snort when she
No.
was like, "Did I do that?" And I
I
was
was
like,
going to say,
and I was like, that would have been a banger. I feel like in the theater, but just me and these other 4 people, it was just like me going, like, I can't believe I did that, you know. So it sucks that it wasn't a full audience, and I hope that's not the trend for everyone's experiences. That it was like kind of empty audience. I hope everyone went and saw this, like, and it was successful, because I'm really excited to see like if this pops off, what it means for comedy movies going like forward. Because I would love to see like a buddy cop movie with like Mark Norman and Sam Morril, and
Chief
Bobby
Queef.
Lee and Andrew Santino had this movie they like impromptu made called The Bottoms of Turtle Bay, and it'd be so cool if they like
Well,
actually
then
got to
there's-
make that like it's a big budget movie. So I hope it like creates like a catalyst and is like a proof of concept for like successful comedy movies going forward. But
It was the Bert and Tom Fat Guys in Space that they talked about doing too
oh my god,
on the show.
yeah, that would be
And Tom
nuts.
wants to come in space,
Yeah.
so
Tom wants to come in space.
there you go.
He's coming everywhere.
Come on.
make it happen, Elon.
Yeah, do one useful thing. All right, let's talk about our star ratings. Who wants to go first? I don't. I'm gonna assign someone.
Me?
Yeah.
I can go first. I say that and then all my thoughts went blank. Okay, so overall it was gross. I'm sorry.
And cut.
Overall, I liked this movie. I know,
Yeah.
right?
God.
Resident hater over here.
Yeah. She
no,
hates Bert.
I don't hate Bert.
4 stars. Who sure was on almost the whole time.
Bert, if you're listening, I don't hate you. Come on our podcast.
He's not listening. Imagine.
Yeah, but
Can you
maybe
imagine?
he will.
Oh, no.
Maybe he
knows?
will. You don't know.
I'll make him the best cocktail he's ever had. That's a promise.
See, it's just
It's a
incentives.
promise.
You don't know.
It's a paper plane. He's probably had one, but I'll still make you one.
Oh, it's so nice.
All right.
My rating. I really liked Arena's character because I like a badass woman because I'm a woman. Maybe I'm a badass. Probably not. That's okay.
You're on a podcast.
Yeah,
do.
that's all it takes.
This just in, women. If you want to be a badass, just start a podcast. Don't even start your own podcast. Just be on your husband's. So
Yeah.
that's all you take. First, you got to get a husband if you don't
It's
have
better
one.
than
That's okay.
It's better than beating that true crime drum again.
That's true. I don't like true
All
crime.
right.
It's terrible. This is off the rails.
The review.
You guys keep distracting.
How many stars?
You guys just keep distracting me.
No, wait. You liked it. You liked it.
I 3.
Average.
It's average. Like it was
Average.
enjoyable. but it wasn't like amazing. It was what I expected it to be, a goofy action movie with Bert being crazy and Mark Hamill being crazy. So yeah, I'd watch it again, but not like a lot.
Ooh. All right.
But not a lot of times. You know, if somebody else was like, I wanted to watch it, I'd be like, all right, I'll watch it with you.
All right, Nick.
I had a ton of fun with this one. I particularly liked how they wove the original story with this new, like, fictional story of present day going back to Russia. Because it probably would have been a mistake if they would have assumed that everyone knew the story. So I feel like you could have watched this movie without ever hearing about Bert and still kind of get everything. So I liked how they jumped back and forth between present day and past. It was cool because they, in a genius marketing move, they uploaded the special, to YouTube like a day after it came out. And I went back and watched a little bit of it. And now, listening to the story, I'm picturing this movie and scenes from this movie, which is pretty cool. I thought they did a good job, like, using some of the lines that we expect to hear, like seeing him start to understand Russian. He's like, oh, bread and cake and cheese, and when they're robbing the train. So seeing some of that story kind of come to life was cool. I thought it was well written, well directed, true to the material. There was a nice little fun, heartwarming ending of when he was like, you were doing it, like Bert was doing all the wrong things on the train, but it was exactly what needed to happen to keep everyone on the train safe. Like, I liked the conclusion they came to. And the last thing I wrote down was just, we see so much of this guy, like on podcasts and stand up and interviews. It, like, after seeing so much of this dude, you like kind of feel like you know him, even though you don't know him. And it was cool to see him on the screen. And Bert's an emotional dude, and you know he's super loving this. So, I'm gonna give this a 3.5.
3.5, just above average. Carl,
just above.
All right. I mean, I agree with a lot of what Nick said. I think, you know, visually it was very well done, very well directed. The typography was very cool. Loved all the little inside jokes for people that are longtime Bert fan. Bert was the first person I actually saw do stand-up live, so he kind of set me on this crazy rabbit hole of, now I've been to Zanies like 50 times. So he's kind of wet my whistle for comedy, so it's cool to see him kind of come full circle and do this huge production movie, even though it was only a low production budget, I guess, comparatively to other movies, but still. He did it. You know, he's like this guy that has an idea and he goes and he does it. He's a doer, you know, so it's cool to see, you know, him succeed in this way. So it's a kind of this, you know, he had nothing. He made it into this crazy, you know, production. I thought the time jump transitions were really cool and really well done. How they kind of spun around. Like the one I really think about is the one where he gets to watch, young Bert gets to watch, and they do the kind of spin in that transition, and then Arena's like behind young Bert and picks up the watch in like modern day. I thought that was really cool and really well done. It had that, it was, you know, the fight scenes are really well choreographed. The action was actually like really well done, and Bert, I think, held his own in that respect, but, you know, better than like the kind of mundane scenes. And it had that high budget polish, but I think that ultimately hurt the comedy side of it. I think it almost looked too good. So the comedy kind of became secondary a little bit. I just wish there was a little bit more jokes and a little bit more absurd comedy, if that makes sense. Let me see. I think that's pretty much everything. I'm gonna give this movie 3 as well, I think. Yeah.
I think I'm also going to give it a 3, maybe a 3.5, probably a 3. Enjoyable, dumb, but fun. I thought the fight choreography, especially with Karina or whatever her character's name was a little like, I don't know if I loved it as much, especially with her. Like, she had some scenes where it's like, all right, are we really going to watch her beat up another guy with a gun in another hallway again?
Yeah.
You know?
A bit much.
Very Black Widow.
We get it.
Yes.
She's cool. We get
She
it.
was cool.
Yeah.
And I wanted more of the dumb stuff like Bert accidentally headshotting 3 guys with 1 bullet. Like that was hilarious. You know?
Yeah, I wanted him to kind of like accidentally make his way through the events and be like, "Whoa, I was drunk enough to make that happen," kind of thing. But it was a little bit less of that. But for a first swing at a movie, I mean, well done.
Interesting. He said, maybe jokingly, maybe not, that all he wants to do is make machine movies for the rest of his career, and then right off of that. So we'll see. I hope there's more. I enjoyed it enough.
They kind of set it up for a sequel a little bit with the brother.
I definitely enjoyed it enough to watch another one.
I'm going to kill you. I don't think you're going to.
Yeah, that was I wanted like a Kool-Aid moment or a Hitler's teacup or like even like a
Jennifer Aniston for her safety.
Yeah.
Something.
Like a hog heaven or whatever. Just something that was like
or just
that, like there wasn't that peak comedy moment that I wanted that is like super
even if they
quotable.
would have just snuck in him saying the word red, like red.
Yeah. Yeah, I was surprised there was no Kool-Aid at all. Yeah.
Yeah, no Kool-Aid out of 10.
No Kool-Aid at the party even. Like, but yeah.
Nothing.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. Good movie-ish. Fun movie.
Fun movie.
3 out of 10. Fun summer dummy
3 out of 10.
movie.
3 out of 10.
3 out of 10. No, 3 out of 5. We don't do a scale out of 10. What am I thinking? So yeah.
You moron.
Yeah, easy now.
Yeah. So yeah, good movie. Bucket?
Did you want to
Bucket. Back
ask
to the
our
bucket.
follow-up questions first or nah?
We had follow-up questions?
Favorite thing you watched? Nick's Beatles journey?
I thought we did bucket and then
We do
went to
bucket
those.
and then that. Let's do bucket and then that.
Have you
Okay,
never
I-
watched this show, Danielle?
No, we usually do those first.
Not the last 2 times. We can do whatever.
I'm up for whatever.
We
order.
always do those first. I mean, it doesn't matter, but we
Let us
usually
know in the
we-
Rock, paper,
comments.
scissors,
What's your
for it.
preferred
Let's
order?
rock, paper, scissors for it. All right. Rock,
Ooh.
paper, scissors, shoot. I win. We're doing the bucket first.
Best 2 out of 3.
Let's pick him. Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
This is good
We
radio.
tied.
man.
Rock, paper, scissors. This is a good. Okay. Oh, it's tied. All right, this is for all the more. No! We're doing the bucket first.
God damn
This
it!
gives everybody time to turn off the episode and not hear about Nick's Beatles journey that I don't even know
It's
if
really
you've listened to the whole
important.
album. Have you even listened to the whole album?
I have listened to it once.
Okay.
I'm going to give it another week.
Yeah.
No preliminary thoughts.
No.
What is it?
A League of Their Own.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
I literally just saw this on
We
Netflix.
don't have to pay $5.
I literally saw this on Netflix last night and was like, I want to watch it. I want to watch it.
Who's in
A
it?
baseball movie?
Read us
It
the
is a
summary.
baseball movie.
It's
Is
a
it?
baseball movie.
I thought
Let's
it was
go. And it's a 90s Tom Hanks movie. Let's go, Danny.
And there's a shitty series on Netflix starring Nick Offerman that nobody's watched.
We're not gonna talk about that.
League
Tom Hanks.
of Their Own,
like Nick
1992
Offerman.
sports drama. The synopsis is really long. Let's see what IMDb says. Much shorter. 2 sisters join the first professional baseball league and struggle to help it succeed amid their own growing rivalry. Starring Tom Hanks, Gina Davis, Lori Petty, Madonna. Jesus.
Oh,
Madonna
hey.
in this movie?
Yeah, apparently.
Rosie O'Donnell.
Is it pre or post Madonna?
Post Madonna.
Carry on. Bad joke.
Bad.
Pre-Madonna.
that didn't
Pre-Madonna.
land for me.
It was post Madonna being famous because she was in the movie, so she had to be famous to be in the movie.
Yeah.
There's your
So
answer.
92, we weren't born. Rated PG, 2 hours and 8 minutes, and it's on Netflix.
Woo!
Yay, Netflix.
Yay, Netflix. Sponsor the podcast.
That's the next.
It's a movie
Brought
podcast.
to you by Netflix.
Yeah,
Brought to you by Netflix.
That'll be the freaking day. All right, let's do your Beatles journey. What's the album? Beatles for sale?
Beatles for sale. I only listened to it through once, so I don't have any hard opinions. I'm going to give it another week. So
Beatles for
we'll talk
sale
next week.
All right.
Is a famous
Join us next week.
photograph is the cover. I don't remember
Look
why.
at
Look at this photograph. Every
Every
time
time
I
Okay,
I do
stop.
it makes me laugh.
So I Feel Fine is on this.
You love that song.
She's a Woman, 8 Days a Week.
8 days a week.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see what else. No reply. I'm a Loser. Rock and Roll Music.
I don't remember any of these.
8 Days a Week. Yep. Words of Love. Buddy Holly cover.
Ooh,
little
I
thing.
look just like Buddy Holly.
Yeah. Not my favorite.
Mary Mary
Beatles
Tyler
album, that's for sure.
Moore.
Mhm.
I'll let you know
Help is
next week
next.
if it's mine.
Help.
And that one's better.
Can
Help is
somebody
better.
help?
What else did we talk about?
Not just
Oh, favorite thing we
anybody.
watched that wasn't The
Help.
Machine
Unless
this
you didn't
week.
want to do that this week,
No, I
but
wanna
you
do
wanted to do that, so I'm reminding you.
I want to do it this
You're
week.
welcome.
Mine is Somebody Feed Phil still.
Somebody feed, somebody feed.
I've ripped through almost 4.
Creature of habit.
I've ripped through almost 4 of the 6 seasons now. It's the best. It's such a good show. If you haven't watched it yet, you're an idiot.
Wow.
And you should watch it. Boom.
Boom.
Boom roasted.
Boom.
What have you watched that's not, something dumb?
Me?
Yeah.
Wow.
You
Shots
watch
fired at my things.
yeah. You watch some
What have I watched? Well, I started watching
some
House,
dramedy.
and
House is good.
It's all right.
It's better than The Good
I
Doctor.
gotta quit. Did you know that House was a spoof of Sherlock Holmes?
Of course.
Okay, never mind.
I didn't know that until
House.
Cameron
Yeah, me
told
too.
me that.
Carry on.
House, Holmes. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I get it now, but it took me literally all of the show. I didn't
get it.
Yeah.
Do you-
Me and my
do you
other,
like-
my youngest brother didn't get that. My middle brother was like, "Yeah, it's obvious. Yeah,
Yeah.
House Holmes," and I was like, "There's no way you knew that. You looked it up."
Do you do you think Good Doctor is better than House? Because I think that's insane.
No, but the tone's different.
a surgeon. I am a surgeon. It's not better than House, dude.
That's one moment.
I am a surgeon.
I don't know enough about this other show
not-
to get the
it's
reference.
not
but
better.
It's fun to
Get on
watch.
TikTok and search on it.
It's not better than Hugh Laurie being a genius.
But it's the same thing.
You're going to kill him. It's not better. It's also borderline offensive.
You've seen the Family Guy bit? where
Not
he's
as
like,
offensive
"You'll
as me
need this."
doing it.
So yeah. No, it's the same thing. House messes up. No, it's not the same thing as The Good Doctor. Each episode of House is the same thing because he's like, I don't
It's
know what to do,
formulaic.
and then they almost die, and then he
We have to break the
saves them.
rules to solve this
Yeah.
guy.
It's
Yeah, of
like
course.
every episode they
We
go
weren't
through like,
thinking
oh,
about
this
it
wasn't it,
correctly.
this wasn't it, this wasn't it. Oh, I guess that's it. And then the episode ends.
Well, that's kind of medicine.
I guess it's true.
It's better than like, will the Good Doctor bang the lady yet? Will he bang her?
The answer is yes. He will bang her.
Whatever. I'd rather watch a
Spoilers.
Vicodin addicted
I was gonna
hobble
watch
man.
it.
So I don't know if that's my favorite thing.
No,
but
what's
that's
it?
a
What's
thing.
it, the house? So house is your thing.
It's my thing.
House is your thing. Nick, what'd you watch this week?
I'm dead.
I have officially
surgeon.
started my. I've started my Ted Lasso season 3 journey.
Oh,
Wait,
boy.
have you not watched any of season 3?
No,
Have
I
you been
watched a
waiting?
little bit of the first. I watched a little bit of the first episode and then went, I'm just gonna wait.
That's kind of smart.
But
Is
a
it?
couple nights ago, I watched the first episode.
Yeah, it's annoying
All
to
the
have
way
to
through.
wait.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's off to a fine start.
There's
It's
a
just
couple
3 seasons.
really good episodes.
Yeah.
Like
I
Sunflowers.
might tear through that.
They're
Thing.
ending it. They're long ass episodes,
They are.
especially in this third season.
Like
They're
an hour or more than an
more
hour?
than,
More than
they're
an hour.
stretching it longer
What?
than an hour this
Yeah.
season.
It's like
too much.
Stranger
Oh, this
Things,
season.
man. Just
It's
make
too
a
much.
movie.
Yeah.
Well, also just like make a better show. Anyway, Carl, what is your
Speaking
favorite
of
thing? you
Stranger
watched?
Things, one of the Russian guys was in Stranger Things. I watched. I've
Oh, yeah.
rewatched
Igor.
Silicon Valley. I'm starting Silicon Valley again.
Oh,
Amazing. It holds up.
Nice.
It's so man. Peter Gregory, Florida. That was so fine. Like, what an actor,
The
man.
line's much
I love
shorter.
his little
See?
like when he's the true price of snake oil is unchangeable as well. It's just like that little guffaw.
It's a shame that guy died, man.
It's a shame that he's passed away. He was so great. Love that character. Other than that, I just started doing yoga again. I'm on day
Ooh.
5, so I'm trying to be limber. I'm doing
Nice.
a lot of sitting.
Love that for you.
So I'm just trying to get settled into
Planting
my
your
body and
feet firmly
namaste
into
and
the
all
earth
that.
and
Yeah,
stuff, yeah.
all 4 corners of the earth, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Sitting root to rise or whatever.
Yoga.
So just trying to
root to
hard.
rise.
yeah, I'm trying to, and not that I'm sitting good here, but
Right.
I haven't taken any of it and put it into practice yet. Here, this is better.
Remember when we were watching Silicon Valley at Silk's house and we were doing on
my
Fridays, we were doing Crack
Everyone was
Cold and
like-
Open with the boys.
Oh, those were good times.
And you made a drink called Sex in the Driveway
Sex
all
in the
summer
Driveway
long
all
or
summer
something
long.
stupid.
Yeah.
And
It was
I
like-
had one. I had just turned like 22, I think, which is
man,
when I just
good
started
times.
drinking. Or I guess not drinking. Like I wasn't doing keg stands and ripping full bottles of vodka, but
Yeah.
I was just like
Not full machine.
trying
That was 24.
trying alcohol for the first time. And I had one, and I wanted another one. And Carl and David got up to make more drinks. And I was like, can you guys make me one? And they're in the kitchen out of sight. This is before the wall was removed from Silk's house. They were well out of sight. And I'm watching Silicon Valley. I think it was the desert episode where someone's hallucinating in the desert from taking a bunch of drugs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Technology.
Yeah.
Like,
And you call
making the world
out.
a better place. Making the world a better place.
You called
It's a
out to
pretty
me,
good-
do you want one shot or two? And I said one. And apparently David did this to you. and
Well,
it's important
I
to
think
know.
what it was is
It's important to note that Carl had no idea what a shot was. He thought his shot glass was a shot glass, but his shot glass was a double shot.
Yeah.
So what I thought I was
it was
having
one of those skinny
shots.
tall ones, which is a deceptive way to put liquid into a thing.
So I thought I was having one shot. So my one was a 2, and when he put a double in, it was really 4. And I remember it's the first time I got
that
drunk.
drink was strong.
Yeah, I remember it was the first time I got drunk, and I stood up, and I felt like I stood up twice. I like stood up and then stood up, and I was like, I'm gonna
Your
sit.
body
I'm
caught
gonna,
up with
sit
you.
back
I'm gonna
down.
sit back down. It was a good time. We watched the NBA Finals and ordered pizza at 1 a.m. It was great.
Nice.
Anyway, that's my Silicon Valley story. We should wrap this up. I feel like we've been going for 9,000 years, but we've also had 900
wrap it up.
technical difficulties. But at least
Yeah, but we're
we
here.
have
We
not
did it.
left a cursor on your screen for the whole episode this time.
Yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Proud of you.
Cheers to us.
Definitely was a cursor on the. What episode was that last
Scarface.
week? Scarface. Whoops.
Scarface.
Whoops. I also definitely said Saddam Hussein had the hard drive with the Sims save. Welcome to the corrections part of the episode. That was Osama bin Laden. Got my early 2000s terrorism mixed up. But,
That's really embarrassing for you.
we can't all be
Bill-
winners.
Equally as funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Twin Towers guy was the Sims guy. What do you know?
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
I can't bring the towers back. All right, we are gonna watch A League of Their Own, and Tom Hanks baseball movie that's 31 years old.
Yeah.
Jesus,
Math. I don't know. Don't ask me to do
Sheesh.
math.
time is fake.
As old as me.
And yeah, we'll watch that, and we'll catch you in the next one.
All right.